What's up, Planet Earth, and welcome back to the channel. I just want to go ahead and let you guys know, if you guys want to go ahead and support this channel, what is words, support this channel, go ahead and hit over to the TCG link down below. You can find it, check out some of the stuff that's on there, or you can just simply follow or subscribe depending on the channel platform that you're watching, whether it be Twitch or YouTube. I will do my best to deliver different kinds of content every single day. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into the topic at hand. Check it out. So, I've been thinking about this the last couple of days, and I was thinking, what two cards, and you guys already see Firewall, but what two cards should never, ever, ever be off of this ban list at the same time? Well, first card that came to mind was the one and only, the better than Ash Blossom, the I can do more than Droll and Lockbird, the Ghost Ogre without saying no, without popping, without disabling your ability to do anything, essentially. All I get to do is, you get to do whatever, and I just get to draw a card. Maxx C. Like, this card was like the bane of Yu-Gi-Oh players' existence, and at the same time was like every Yu-Gi-Oh player's like golden relic. And it, like, what was going on with this card? This card did the simplest thing, and it didn't even like say no or shut down or did anything in particular. It just said, for every time your opponent's special summon, let me just read you the card. Now here's the thing. For Yu-Gi-Oh players that have been in the game for like year and a half, maybe like year and a half ago or whatever the case may be, they felt the wrath and the luxury of Maxx C. Players that are a little bit younger, like maybe last 8-10 months, maybe are a little out of the game in terms of what this card was. Maybe they never heard of this card. So now I just want to educate those players. And so this card basically said, hey, you know what? During either player's turn, quick effect, so you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard this turn. Each time your opponent special summons a monster or monsters, immediately draw one card. This card was a potential plus 35, for the decks like World Chalice that could just spam the board so hard. But can you imagine? It's off the top of my head, I think the World Chalice was probably the only deck that can force a player to deck out when this card was still in the game. If they weren't able to deck him out, they came close. I think when I tried it, I got it down to like 20 cards left in the deck. But the thing is why was this card so good? Why was this card, it said no without saying no. Nowhere in that text said no. Nowhere in that text says negate or destroy. And the reason being is because you don't want your opponents to have more cards than what they already have. That's the problem. If your opponent has more cards than what they already have, plus all the hand trap, can you imagine Maxx C with Ash Blossom, with Ghost Ogre, with Winter Cherry, Droll and Lock? If your opponent didn't have those cards that in that first 5-card hand, but they have the Maxx C, and you try to push through the Maxx C, I guarantee you they're going to have the Ash Blossom, because they'll just draw it out. And even then, there was probably some sort of Mad Exodia thing lingering with Maxx C, and it was a little bit slower and a little bit more gambly than the average player. But this card was just like, I'm not intentionally saying no to you, but you're not going to do anything because I know you don't want me to have 40 cards in my hand. Essentially 40, but it would be like 39 and then the draw one, right? So here's the thing. Maxx C was such a great card that it just completely ruined the game, essentially, and so it got banned on its own nature. The other card that I think shouldn't be off this list at the same time as Maxx C is Firewall. Now, everybody knows what Firewall Dragon does. It's no mystery. No doubt about it. No complexities whatsoever. So why Firewall? Well, I mean, Firewall, we already know the FTKs and the poison that Firewall created in the game in its own nature. But can you imagine? Here's the reason why. We already know what Firewall does, and for those of you who do not know, which if you don't know, where have you been? Because you've obviously been under a rock. Once while face up on the field, this is a quick effect. You can target monsters on the field and or in the graveyard up to the number of monsters co-linked to this card. Return them to the hand. If a monster's card points to is destroyed by battle or sent to the graveyard, you can do something. Can't special summon one monster from your hand. Straightforward. Simple stuff. So why? Why should Firewall not be out the same time as Maxx C? Did you not hear the first effect? Can you imagine? You just basically block out your opponent. And here's what. Summon Sorceress is in the game. What archetype is this? What is this? That's an earth. It's an insect. On the bright side, there's not a lot of insect cards or insect monsters or insect decks that like go above and beyond just enough for them to manipulate this. But I'd figured that if Maxx C and Firewall became a thing, I guarantee someone is going to find a way to make an insect work with whatever deck to be able to use Summon Sorceress. Hear me out. My phone went off. To get Maxx C on the field. Now, but Summon Sorceress brings him to the field and negates the effect. Well, I mean, hello, you use Maxx C and Summon Sorceress to get your Firewall. And then whatever else you have on the board, you basically get it to co-link to the Firewall and you bounce the Maxx C back to your hand. Boom, you have a sheer negate, you have basically a one card to negate everything. In your hand, and you can guarantee it almost every single time to your hand if that were to be a thing. Can you imagine that? The insanity that would happen if both of these cards came off of this list at the same time. But yeah, no. These two cards have been in the back of my mind for a couple of days now. I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. I think Maxx C and Firewall, should they ever come off of the ban list ever again, should never be off the ban list at the same time. Now, unless Konami decides to have some sort of like mad raging, purging, Armageddon kind of a situation where they just take every single card off the ban list, all hell breaks loose. But you know what? Until then, these two cards, it's either one or the other. And in my personal opinion, Maxx C should never. If I'd had to go for either Firewall or Maxx C, I'd rather deal with Firewall, because at least Firewall had some level of limitation. By some, like very little. And with Maxx C, yeah, we could just call by the grave it. We can probably ash it, but no. That's a huge. That's a huge. Maxx C is such a huge poison in the game, and it's too dangerous to have it in the game. But without further ado, it's been awesome. It's been great. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and click on the link below. For those of you watching it through Twitch, check out some of the cards on there. I'll also have the link attached in the YouTube description box below for those watching on YouTube. If you guys want to support through other ways, go ahead and hit the subscribe or follow button. If you guys like this video the way that it is, or whatever the madness that it included, go ahead and hit that like button. If you don't like it, do what you got to do. It'll break my heart, but that's okay. I'll live. And I'll see you in the next one.